Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. And in this video, we're going to give you our review for Ahsoka episode 6.
Sticks?
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Sticks?
Now streaming on Disney Plus. My goodness, what a great episode. Some familiar faces, and I must say, it is epic. It's been long awaited. Dylan, without further ado, why don't you start us off?
Oh my god, I keep repainting my walls every week just watching this show. Oh, Filoni, you're killing me, man. Oh my god, so many good things, so many great reveals in this episode. It surpassed my expectations, and it's hard because episode 5, the last one, was really good. So to see it top that episode just blew my mind. But yeah, so spoilers ahead, guys, but we get it in this episode. We finally get to see Thrawn.
Jango's wife.
That should make me more mad that we didn't get Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka. Because can you imagine like 2 of the legacy voice actors portraying their characters live action?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so in this episode we get to see Grand Admiral Thrawn, what he's been up to since Rebels, and I have to say, he just brings the menace back. Like, it feels like, I'm telling you, he would have made such a better villain than Palpatine for the sequels. This series feels like it should have been, the sequels to Return of the Jedi. But we also see Ezra also in this episode, and he looks amazing. We get to see some cool new species, the little turtle people. I thought they were really cute. And yeah, this is a new galaxy. And also, if you guys didn't catch it, they said the famous line in the beginning. Hu Yang said a galaxy far, far away. I was like, Leo was like, oh. But Akram, let's get your thoughts on episode 6.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Of course, they just keep hitting home runs, I believe. And I think the new planet that we've seen now is, for some part, underwhelming a little bit, but it's understandable. It has a rich and deep and dark history to it, and it does look like, it's kind of in shambles a little bit with the old architecture. So I do like that aesthetic. I do like the color grading too. It's really gray, kind of menacing, and you don't really know what to expect. We do see some other species like some marauders or mercenaries or just random lowlives trying to jump Sabine a little bit later on in her quest. Also, we do see some new animals. So we get like this rat horse thing, which I thought was so cute, actually. It was terrifying at first, but it actually ended up being really cute. Well, one thing also stood out to me was, again, Ray Stevenson unfortunately passed away. This was such a great episode for him too. I love the dialogue in this. Yeah,
it gave us some new insight on his character, and had some great conversations with Shin Hati and kind of like his mindset, like where he is right now. So he's kind of, I feel like he's not, I don't know if, because I predicted a long time ago, maybe he's gonna like kill Thrawn. I don't think he really cares about the Empire or the Jedi Order, to be honest, because he keeps saying that he wants to have he wants to rediscover the beginning. So maybe like this new galaxy in a way presents like a new opportunity to like start fresh, because like the Star Wars galaxy that we know is like, it's just like endless wars. Like like you said, like the cycle keeps, it's like Game of Thrones, like the wheel keeps spinning, right? It doesn't matter which faction wins. There's like constant bloodshed. So maybe this new galaxy is like a fresh start for him in a way. Like it's like more peaceful, it doesn't really know. It's new territory to explore, right?
Sure. But one thing to note too, which I think will be a gripe with many, is that there's multiple possibilities with this new galaxy for the characters. So it could kind of be a way to write off certain characters when they explore this space. They can be stuck there, probably indefinitely or conveniently brung back. And I feel like this could be an actual galaxy or planet where Ahsoka can stay, Ezra can stay, and perhaps even Baylan and Shin Hati can stay in. That is a little bit troublesome too, because then it's just like a little bit too convenient. But I mean, it does make sense in the long run, because there are a lot of characters that they have killed off in the past. And it's like, boy, wouldn't it have been great to see them in this new franchise, I call it, because again, this is like filling a lot of space in between the originals and then plus the sequels. And so I feel like this might be Ahsoka's final appearance. It is really unfortunate that Ray Stevenson has passed away. I wonder if they're going to recast the role of Balin one day, because that character is really cool, and I feel like we could see him pop up in a lot of other Star Wars canon a little later on, perhaps even Tales of the Jedi or something like that. I don't know if they're going to kill anybody off, really. I mean, maybe Thrawn, but that's the thing. Now, is your message weaker because of this new space? Like, sometimes killing a character off can be really strong if used properly, but now you have something really convenient here. So could you possibly just keep them stranded? Will that be satisfying for the audience? I'm not too sure. I like it, but I feel also that we might see a lot more characters join this new galaxy. For example, what's his name from Jedi Survivor or something like that? Cal Kestis. Like maybe one day they'll visit. There's a lot of Cal Kestis notes or Jedi Survivor notes in Ahsoka. Like the Marauders look like the mercenaries from Jedi Fallen Order, which is really interesting. So I wonder if that'll shift. I wonder if this is going to be the new thing, right? Because Hu Yang said that in the beginning, a galaxy far, far away, blah, 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 blah. It looks like they're teasing at a new sandbox to play in. And it's really exciting, actually, to be honest, because it's not really done before, and I think that's really exciting. Star Wars is all about exploring sometimes too, the adventure.
For sure, it opens up new lore, because this, like they even said in this episode, this galaxy was told in like folk stories or like children's stories, and there already is kind of like a Star Wars presence in it from the other galaxy, because the Dathomir witches are from this one planet, and we see like the space whales. It's kind of like their graveyard in a way. So it would be really interesting to see, like, perhaps they're like ancestors to like the known Star Wars galaxy in this universe. Maybe they're like progenitors to like the Jedi or like Force sensitives in a way. I mean, you don't want to over-explain it to the point where like you lose the mythology in a way, because then it becomes like too scientific in a way. But perhaps, like you said, it could be like a Jedi Survivor thing where like we see little bits of the lore, perhaps like, you know, some cool. I was thinking of like some of the old concept art, you know, from George Lucas's notes, perhaps like lived in this new universe, because you have an opportunity to kind of take the Star Wars universe and flip it on its head, right? To make it new, interesting, with the same Star Wars style and feel, but perhaps it's different in a way. Maybe it's more ancient or more analog, right, than what we know.
Exactly, yeah, and that's super exciting. And plus the villains that they could introduce. But I mean, at the end of the day, I wonder how much are they going to redefine Star Wars with this new turn? Or are they going to, like, is it going to be the kind of same tropey thing? I mean, we already have the High Republic, and unfortunately, they're just fighting like Somali pirates and stuff like that. They're not really fighting anybody. Like, they're fighting the Marauders or whatever, which is not really all too exciting. So I feel like sometimes the quality of ideas sometimes dip, but the sentiment is always there, and that's a really beautiful thing. So that's what always worries me, is when they introduce something new. It's like, well, it sounds new, but deep down it's actually the same old thing. So I wonder what else concept they could bring. I mean, the possibilities are endless. They could have perhaps styles that are really 1960 retro-ish for certain planets, or like kind of like No Man's Sky type of concepts, like monoliths here and there. And what do they mean?
You could even have like Jedi, like in the old EU, like the first Jedi, when they had like actual swords and not like lightsabers or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, honestly, it's the possibilities are endless. I do feel like this is a good way to write off, because we have to also keep in mind too, again, the sequels aren't retconned, so this is a good way to send off. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, we talked about this before. All the shows coming out, and this is just a side note, it does seem like this is the actual true sequels we're supposed to be getting, not the actual sequels with Rey and Poe Dameron and stuff like that. These are the true sequels we're supposed to be getting. So that's why we have such an influx of them. And then when it comes to Clone Wars or whatever, it's just usually animated or some references here and there. But how far are they gonna, like, how far are they gonna keep going with this? Because eventually it's gonna be too repetitive. We already seen that from The Mandalorian with a lot of tropes that they had. But as for the show, as for the episode, anyway, going off the tangent. As for the episode itself, I think seeing Ezra for the first time, he looks older. He looks a little bit more grizzled. What were your thoughts on seeing Ezra for the first time in live action?
Damn, that dude looks so good. He kind of reminds me of was that dude from Hunters when he grew the beard out? Jonah.
Yeah, Jonah, exactly.
Yeah, he's like a little more like mature now. I don't know, like we keep going back and forth on like what the time period of this place takes.
Sure, yeah, I don't know.
How old Ezra is. He looks like he might be like in his like early 20s because he was like a teenager in Rebels. And then I think I forget who mentioned it, but it was like 20 years. Like Mandalorian is supposed to take place like after Return of the Jedi. So some time has passed. So obviously he looks a little bit older. But that reunion scene was really special to me. Just seeing Sabine go through like this journey, and then finding her lost friend, and the music got me like so like teary eyed. It's just this series is like a nice kind of love letter to all the Rebels fans and Clone Wars as well. So like we get some nice reunions. Obviously Ahsoka with Anakin, and now Sabine with Ezra, right? So I hope maybe Hera could maybe, I don't know, through the Force or through Sith alchemy, maybe Hera could find way to contact Kanan or something. Maybe through Jason somehow.
Good luck. She's gonna need Virgin Mobile or something like that. Not even Virgin Mobile. That's gonna suck for her. But yeah, I mean, I think you said a great point about the reunions thing. I think one of the through lines for this show is about reunions, and I think that's a really touchy-feely, like, cool thing because it's like no matter how far you are, the sentiment is there, the thoughts are there, and eventually reuniting can be really powerful. And you could possibly form new allies along the way. I'm thinking maybe Balin, maybe he turncoats or something like that, and Shinhati maybe. It's all about that, making that connection. Seeing that, I had a theory. I don't know if I said it before, but I always thought that this would be like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with Michelle Pfeiffer and Ezra was fighting Thrawn's forces or something like that. I really took me aback when I just saw that Thrawn was, in a way, first of all, those stormtrooper designs were amazing. The costuming and stuff, the gold.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that so suited him. It was perfect. But it kind of took me back because like, oh, so Ezra's just hiding all this time. I thought that there would be more of a chase or more of a, well, I'm going to chase this powerful object that now Balin keeps speaking of, or just power there. And I hope that he does speak of that a little bit rather than just hiding and like running away with these people. So that's what I'm hoping. I was a little bit disappointed that not disappointed, but it did feel kind of anticlimactic. I thought that he'll be more up to something. And I wonder really, the climax of the show, how is it going to end? Will Ezra actually take part in the fight? Will they actually succumb to their injuries or something like that? I don't really know because, again, it looks like he's in a different space right now in his life. And that's how it seems. And he says, I can't wait to go home, which is crazy because Sabine like had no other thoughts other than just to reunite. Yeah, she was like that meme. So it's like, I wonder how he's going to take that. But at least Ahsoka is coming, so yeah.
Yeah, I wonder like if like Ezra's exile is kind of like Obi-Wan when he was on Tatooine. Like there's a disconnect from the Force a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then like will Sabine like give him back his lightsaber, or will like she keep it? Because now it's kind of sad for Sabine's arc because we were so focused on her and her relationship with Ahsoka, and now that you bring in Ezra back, it's kind of like, okay, well now all we want is Ezra, right, to see what he's been up to. So you kind of like dilutes Sabine's arc up until now. So I don't know how like you could bring that back in a way, and they keep trying to push the idea that she might have the Force because she keeps trying like every time to like use the Force, but it's always like some happenstance or like something miracle happens. So, but yeah, I actually thought the stormtrooper designs were really cool. I thought they were gonna like brainwash Ezra. I thought that gold face stormtrooper was actually gonna be Ezra, and that he was gonna like be brainwashed or something. But yeah, that was cool. So what are your predictions for? Because we only have, I think, 2 or 3 episodes left for the series. So let's get your thoughts on for next episode.
Yeah, I believe there's like 2 more episodes, right? Yeah, I think it's gonna end in episode 8 or something. I got a feeling that I'm hoping at least maybe there's some sort of flashback to Ezra's time on the planet. I don't know how excited, like your idea of the Captain Enoch thing would have been really great, although it would have been too complicated and probably they would have rushed it trying to get him back from being brainwashed or something like that. I would have liked actually if he took the same kind of stance that Balin took, but perhaps maybe they're all working towards the same goal, but just in different ways or different ideologies. I'm wondering that. I'm wondering what's going on in Ezra's mind. As for the next episode, yeah, probably Ahsoka's gonna land. I would like to see a flashback of Ezra just landing, although I don't know how exciting that is because it's just him running away and then meeting up with those crab turtle people.
Right.
So there's not much you could really do there. So perhaps there's gonna be a 2-part finale where it's just this huge battle. I don't think Admiral Thrawn is going to really make it out. If he does, that'll be some cool comics if they drop it eventually or make some spin-offs. But if he doesn't, I think that complicates things a lot less. So yeah, and I really do feel, I hope Balin doesn't die, but I kind of have a feeling that something's going to go awry with his planning. I have good hopes for Shinhati too. I feel like something's going to happen with Shinhati where she kind of sees a different perspective and separates from his idea, because he's separated from a Jedi. So, and he's teaching her his ways. And the ironic thing is she's probably going to separate from his ways. So like, that's going to be a really interesting dynamic right there. And yeah, what about you?
For sure. The thing is, if Balin, because it seems like Thrawn doesn't really care about Balin and Shin. So I could see them kind of like clashing in a way, but then it's like who's Ahsoka gonna fight in the end, right? But I could see Balin trying to, maybe he realized at the end, like even though, well, he keeps talking about this power. That's the thing, like you mentioned, like there's like this some power or some, I don't know if it's like foreign oil or some shit on this new planet or some shit, but or some, maybe it's the unobtainium from
Avatar. Yeah, this is why we're here.
But unless it's Ezra, like maybe Ezra's calling to Balin somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I have a feeling Thrawn's not gonna make it out. I think it's gonna be weird bringing him back into the Star Wars universe, and then he has to be like this big threat that they had to face again, because they already like they got peace in the galaxy again, so you're not gonna start another war until the sequels, right?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be like a self-contained problem, like in this new galaxy.
Sure, exactly.
If they did kill Balin off, I mean that would kind of be convenient in a way. I hate to say it, but since Ray Stevenson died, it's like you can't bring the character back, right? So if you kill him off in this series, it's like, okay, well, you could still use Shinhati if they wanted to do season 2, and maybe she kind of like uses what she learned from him in a way. But for sure, I think we'll see more of Ezra. Probably get a glimpse of what he's been up to. Maybe he can help Sabine in a way with her training. But yeah, and then like, how are they gonna get back? I think that hyperspace ring was actually meant for Thrawn's ship. Now that I'm thinking about it,
that is
it's
cool.
so big.
That's a good idea.
Also, I love the design of the Chimera, like seeing
It's
like
great.
all the like broken parts and stuff.
Really cool.
So yeah, we only have 2 episodes left, but give your rating for this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give. Well, as for the Ezra thing, I really don't know if they're going to go back. Maybe, who knows? Maybe this is the last time. Because, again, we have Luke's by himself. And, here's a good thought. What if Ahsoka, because the whole legacy thing with Anakin, what if Ahsoka makes it down to the turtle people and slaughters them and murders the men, women, and children, just like the sand people? So it's like...
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
It's poetry. It rhymes.
Anakin's like, I trained her so well.
Yeah, he's like crying.
He's like, oh.
His Force Ghost is there.
Her training is complete.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like it's poetry. It rhymes. It's beautiful. It's all about the connections, right? I would probably give this episode a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this episode. I did not feel bored whatsoever. I didn't even feel the runtime. I was just so hyped to see all the new elements introduced and stuff. So honestly, going off of that, I honestly would even give it a 10 out of 10. But for real, I'm going to give it like a 9 out of 10. How about you?
I'd probably give it 10 out of 10 too. I didn't feel bored at all. The character relationships kind of grew, and seeing more of like their mindsets, right? And just seeing Thrawn back, I think, was such a nice treat to Star Wars fans. He looks so good, like live action, and seeing like all the Imperial stuff, I thought was really cool throwback, and it didn't make it like seem too cheesy. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. I cannot wait to see how this series finishes because it's so great. But guys, that is our review for Ahsoka Episode 6, now out on Disney+. Let us know what you thought of this episode. If you stayed to the end of this video, let us know what you thought as well. And leave a comment, a like, anything helps the channel. Check out our other Ahsoka episodes as well because we've been covering this series since the very beginning. And yeah, we have a lot of other Star Wars content as well. So thank you guys so much. And until then, may the Force be with you.
And the Force be with you. See you guys.